Hey, what's going on? Welcome back. All right, so I'm going to do this one quickly because it's a lot of stuff. And so, welcome back. Give it a stretch. Oh, yeah. Hopefully, you were productive in that last work session. I actually got some stuff kind of done. So, well, not done, but I'm writing this post and it's kind of like flowing. So, it's cool. So, I want to get back to it and get it done because I am horrible at writing blog posts. It takes me so long. I'm thinking I might take like a technical writing class, like a creative writing class, just to get over this thing where it's like, oh, it must be perfect. Like it has to. So, yeah, I get analysis paralysis a lot. So, yeah, neither here nor there. We're not here for that to psychoanalyze me. We're here to talk about some web stuff. And so, this came across my Twitter feed. Shouts to Wes Boss. Hope I said that right. That's a great name, last name Boss. Let's see. Let me share my screen. Start screen share. Let's share this one. I don't think I'll need audio, but I'll add it just in case. All right. So looks like good news is that React is going to support web components. And if you've seen pretty much any of these past videos, these break sessions, you know I'm a fan of web components. And so, yeah, I saw this. He posted this December 8th, so like 3-4 days ago. And yeah, pretty cool. And so, Westboss says at Westboss on Twitter, React just released experimental support for web components. And so then he has a link to the GitHub repo, and then kind of like a little code, like an image of a code snippet. So you do what you normally do, import React from React, and then he's importing a date picker from Vaadin, who make a lot of web components. And so importing that, and then exporting the default, which I guess you normally would do anyways. That's a React thing, and it's a function example, right? And then you're handling the change of like the date picker. And so what's happening? So in React, you have to return like a div or something. You have to return some sort of element or whatever. And by the way, it's been a while since I've actually had to use React like for an actual real project, like to create something. So this is going off that memory, and so I'm sure it's changed quite a bit. And we'll talk about the last time I really had to like use React. All right, so and now you're returning, and so you're returning the Vaadin date picker, which is this import. It lets like the browser know that hey, if I come across an element that I don't know what it is, because Vaadin dash date dash picker is not a normal element. It's not like an H1 tag, a P tag, a break tag, image, a link, or anything like that. It's something new. And normally the browser will be like, I don't know what this is, fam. What do you want me to do with this? So by importing this library, it's letting the browser know, oh, don't worry about it. I got you, fam. This is what you do with it when you come across this element. And so, like, oh, the label, yeah, this is going to be the label in the date picker. And then how do you want like the internationalization to happen? And then you use the localized strings, which I guess is that I have to look into it. I don't know if that's a setting or that was something that's set before. I don't know. I've never really played around with the Vaadin web components. Might be a good excuse too. I don't know. But then also here, so here's the on change. So Vaadin is going to list for like an on change. But then what happens with that on change? What are you supposed to do with it? And so you set it to the function handle change, which is here, and then now lets you know what it'll let the browser, the application do something with it. Cool stuff. So I clicked on the link to go to the GitHub repo. And so this is from, oh, by the way, let me to shout out Wes Boss. I'm going to add this tweet to to the archive video, so you'll be able to check it out as well, unless it gets deleted by Twitter or something. I don't know. But yeah. So here we go. I'm going to also add this GitHub issue here where they mention it. I'm not sure what experimental like in React means. Is it like a different thing that you would download, like a different React? I'm not sure. Again, I haven't done much React, but they're saying in React 18, which I guess is the next big thing. And wait, this is wow. This is from October 24th, 2017. I just noticed that. So I wonder if it's something that's going to be implemented. Interesting. So it looks like they've been trying to do this for a while. That's dope. Shouts to them. So what's the latest news on it? Is it a thing already? Is React 18 out? Again, I don't know. I'm gonna look that up more. I just saw this. I thought it was a new thing. But you can see here they have a bunch of discussions, which is pretty cool. I like it. Nice. So yeah, so I guess they came to a conclusion about it. There's 203 comments on this. That is amazing. That's a oh, here we go. So it started, okay, back on July 22nd. All right, we're getting more and more. Wow, okay. Wow, okay. So let's see where we're okay. Let's just scroll to the bottom and see where we're at. That should be like the latest stuff. July 27th. All right, 3 days ago. 4 days ago. So I guess they did it. Oh, that's cool. All right, nice. Yeah, looks like they actually did it. So, but I put a link to the GitHub issue so you'll be able to read. So the initial problem was, so when React, like they say here in the background, when React tries to pass data to a custom element or like a web component, kind of same name, it always does so using HTML attributes. And the thing is with attributes, they have to be strings. And so, like I said, because attributes must be serialized to strings, this approach creates problems when the data being passed is an object or array. They call them like rich objects, something like that. So like objects or arrays. And so those aren't like strings, because when you serialize them to strings, they kind of lose everything. So so they said in that scenario, we ended up with something like this, right? Now the workaround for this was to use a ref to manually set the property, and they talk about that. And they said this workaround feels a bit unnecessary as the majority of custom elements being shipped today are written with libraries which automatically generate JavaScript properties, so that back all of their exposed attributes. So basically saying that even if you pass it in as like an attribute, like the manufacturers of like libraries that help you create web components will see that and make them arrays or objects. All right, cool. And then they give the different proposals, like how they want to do it. I think it's like 5 different options or 5. Yeah, so there's like 5 different options. Cool. So it looks like they actually did it then. Okay, well, there we go. So it looks like it's a thing. Well, that's awesome. Because the whole thing is that I actually created a, because again, I'm big into blog posts. So I created a blog post for work on how to use web components in a React application. And it was a kind of a lot. It was a lot of research to get it working. And so so it's like a whole series I was doing. So I've done Angular, Vue, React. I'm looking to do Svelte at some point, and I also did like vanilla JavaScript. And so yeah, so it took quite of a bit. And so this is the web component. I took the same web component that we created in a previous blog post, and I showed how to use it in the different frameworks libraries. And so I call this one the React Rolodex. And so it was a keypad element that we made. And so you're able to like dial phone numbers and make phone calls with a bunch with the Vonage API. And yeah, and so then you're able to save it and bring it up. It's pretty cool. I think it's cool. And so I talked about the issues, and I spoke about how the same thing, the way it's handling events and like data is kind of difficult. And I talked about the different ways of getting it done. There was like the pre-hook stuff. There was the stuff with hooks, with like use ref and the ref, and then there was this thing like something. It was a lot. And I wrote this back in, I think it was May 10th. So I'm looking forward to the time where I could just be like, hey, you can use it just like any other framework. Because a lot of the other frameworks like Vue, Svelte, if I remember, I think it's Svelte is pretty good too, if I remember correctly. I have to double check that. When I write the blog post, I'll look more. But like Angular, of course, vanilla JavaScript and Vue weren't that bad. Vue had some stuff like with some compiling things, I think, but it's in a blog post I wrote there. And let me post a link to this blog post as well if you want to check that out, since I'm speaking about it. And yeah, so it's cool. And then if you look through the thread from Wes Boss, I think there people have like actual real world examples that they created. And and then it brought up this whole, as with anything on the internet, it brought up a whole thing about like, well, what's the point of web components? I think he mentions that here. Lots of replies asking what the point of using web components inside React is. And then Wes Boss says, I see a huge win in third-party and shared components, which is cool because with the web components, like I showed with my blog series, that you could create the same web component and then use it in different applications, regardless of whatever the framework is built in, and you can use it for different uses. Use it for different uses. Sure. So, like for example, like you just saw the React Rolodex, so you can use the same keypad to dial in a phone number. I have one that's called the Vault. It's like a Vue Vault, where you can you get like a code, and then you're able to use the keypad to type in the code, and then you can open up a vault. Then the Angular one was like for I call it Angular Answers. So it's like you have like a quiz or something, and you're able to like the options have like numbers next to them, and you're able to select your answer by choosing one of those and hitting enter and selecting it, and it'll tell you if you're right or wrong. So for me, that is like an amazing use of web components, all with the same web component. You're able to do so many different things in so many different places. For me, that's amazing. Instead of having to recreate the wheel over and over again. And if you want to update the web, it's that one thing. Instead of like if the framework changes, then you have to go rewrite the thing. No, it's an element that the browser can understand. Like it's just, so for me, that's pretty cool. So like you said, a simple example is a large company using Vue and React. You only need to write that newsletter sign up component once. So in our case, it was the keypad element. So yeah, cool stuff. Oh man, I thought this was gonna be a quick one, but we're running out of time already. And then it says like a more complex example is a video player or scheduler component. If the vendor only needs to develop and offer one component that can be integrated anywhere, that is a win. So like I said, again, the keypad component that we created in that blog series. Yeah, and he mentioned Stencil. Stencil is a cool tool to use to create web components. Another one is Lit. Again, I talk about all this stuff in the blog series. I don't want to sound like I'm harping and pushing the blog series, but I'm just excited and it's cool. Using web components in React is like putting organic lettuce on a McDonald's burger. Okay? Twitter is an amazing place. You're right. That is a good idea. What, the burger thing? Okay. Yep. Perfect takeaway. All right. Sure. I guess I don't know what. That's the thing with Twitter. Twitter always, for me, feels like I'm always walking in on a conversation, right? Like I have no context really of what is being said and why the person said that or how they said it. And so a lot of times I don't interact much with Twitter. It's like, so like this person here says, shout out to Justin. He does a lot of work. Believe he does stuff with Lit. Yes. Build with Lit at Google. And so, yeah, shouts to Justin. Now, so web components are a weird thing. See, I don't see, maybe it's the messaging on how, like, maybe what web components aren't being like properly like explained, maybe, because when I hear web components are a weird thing, like they're just like HTML elements. They're the same. It's like having your own custom element. It's in the name. Like your own H1 tag that you could just say what it does. But it feels like it could be a key part of building micro front ends. Yes. But at the same time, it feels like adoption of it has been super slow. Then Justin says nearly 20% of Chrome page views use web components. And so, yeah, I guess there might be a thing, like a disconnect somehow, maybe. So, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, the use case is write once, run anywhere. But yeah, so it says, see, and I guess people don't, I mean, I guess people are like in React, and then they're like, that's all I need is React. I don't need anything else. So any components I need to make, I'm just going to make a React one. And if I find a application that's using something else or vanilla JavaScript, well, can't use React in it. I mean, I think you could, but then you have to bring the whole React framework into it, and that's just going to make things bigger than it needs to be. So, I mean, I guess people are like, I'm using React, don't need to use anything else. So I can see it from that standpoint. And so I guess, but then even if React changes or whatever, then you have to like rewrite your stuff. Like when it went to like from class-based like functional and using like not webhooks, but like hooks, React hooks. A lot of people had to rewrite their components if they wanted to keep up, right? And so if you just did it as a web component, nothing. React could change as much as it wants, as long as it's listening for data for the events and passing data the same way. Sure, they can change wherever they want. So yeah, I guess, I mean, yeah, see, this was another problem that we had. So like this person, and I covered this in that blog post, again, plug. In the first month of 2020, they and their team tried to create web components using Stencil.js. But due to incompatibility of synthetic events, because the way React does things, they create like a synthetic environment and has synthetic events and stuff. And so, yeah, of React and DOM events, they had to stop. But there's ways around it. And I talk about it in the blog post, just saying. And yeah. But okay, so I guess like 3 months ago, still maybe someday. So like they did it. Cool. Yeah, and then it kind of just goes on to other stuff where I guess people have their personal feelings about Facebook. Yeah, cool. So they've been yeah, so that's it. So shouts to West Boss. It's cool that it looks like I have to read more into it, but yeah, I guess let me go to the react.js. I think it's reactjs.org. I'm gonna put a link to that also. Maybe they'll cover it there. Maybe they'll say something about it. I don't know, but here we go. All right, I'm gonna get y'all back to work. We've got one more break session, so you have one more opportunity to try and sign up for a show and tell. Stop the screen share. Yes, I want to make sure I don't mess anything up. All right, cool. So I'm gonna get y'all back to work. Let's see. All right, so I'm gonna get y'all some traveling music, and this is Nujabes featuring Apani B. The track is called Thank You. And yeah, good luck with everything. I wish you much productivity. We got one more break session, and then we'll have a longer work session, like an hour-long work session. All right, and then we'll call it a day. All right, so thank you all once again for hanging out. Time's going by super quick, and I'm feeling good, getting some stuff done. Hopefully you are doing the same. All right, again, thanks, y'all. See you later. Oh, I totally almost forgot to create the highlight clip video. I would have been upset. All right, thanks again, y'all. I will see y'all soon. Here we go. Thanks again.
But let me start from the heart. I just want to stay. I thank you all for showing love to me. I appreciate this unique opportunity. I'm gonna rock so hard you never stop supporting me. I'm gonna show you how music is more meaning to life. I thank you all for showing love to me. I appreciate this unique opportunity. I'm gonna rock so hard you never stop supporting me. I'm gonna show you how music is more meaning to life. But let me start from the heart. I just want to stay. I thank you all for showing love to me. I appreciate this unique opportunity. I'm gonna rock so hard you never stop supporting me. I'm gonna show you how music is more meaning to life. I thank you all for showing love to me. I appreciate this unique opportunity. I'm gonna rock so hard you never stop supporting me. I'm gonna show you how music is more meaning to life. But let me start from the heart. I just want to stay. I thank you all for showing love to me.